Okay, I'm gonna teach you a strategy for solving two-step equations. What we were doing on the board over there was solving one step. So for solving two steps, you've got two steps in the process to solve it, okay? So when you look at two-step equations, like this one here, I'm gonna make it really big so we can see it, okay? This is that very first problem. What I'm gonna have you do is cover up the part that has the variable. So see the 5n, I'm gonna cover up that whole thing like this with my finger. Okay, using logic and your math skills, what has to be underneath my finger to make that statement true? 15, does everybody agree? 35 plus 15 is 50? Okay, if that's true, then this thing right here has to have a value of 15. So now let's ignore the rest of the problem. Okay, what times 5 is going to get you 15? 3. Is everyone feeling that way? Yeah, you too? All right. So we're saying that n is 3, using all of our cover-up method and logic. Now, we have to be sure. We can't just say, get an answer and move on. We want to make sure that we are positive that it works. So I'm actually going to take 3 and plug it in for n. Okay, now we can simplify this. So we're going to multiply first, and then we'll add, just like we do for order of operations. So this part is 15. Okay, and then this is 50 is equal to 50. If you can simplify both sides and you get it down to the very same thing, then we know that this is absolutely the value of our variable. Okay? Now I know this technique is new, so let's try it on another problem, okay? I'm going to scoot this over. Okay. Now, what's paired with our variable this time? This one's a little different. Does anyone want to tell me what do you think is paired with your variable? Chelsea. Or sorry, not Chelsea. Ashlyn.
2.
There's no 2.
No, you did the thing, the M2.
Okay, let's go back a step. Chelsea. Okay, so if I cover up the part that has the variable, so 3 plus m, if I cover that up, then I'm thinking, well, what times 4 is going to give us 20? And Chelsea just said 5, and that's what you had too, Ashlyn, right?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. So what we're saying is that what's under my finger here has a value of 5. So this right here is 5. Now, ignoring the rest of the problem, what plus 3 is going to give us 5? I heard it. What is it?
2.
2. Okay, so then we're saying that m is equal to 2. Okay? Yes, you were right. Definitely, Ashlyn. Okay, now let's plug it in and make sure it actually works. So I'm going to do 4. So I'm rewriting the whole equation, except for instead of m, I'm going to put 2 here. I'm going to use the order of operations, so I've got grouping here. I'm going to add this. Okay, and 4 times 5 is 20. So since I was able to show that both sides are equal, then we can say yes, m is equal to 2. Okay. Now if you forget how to do this method, I wrote some directions underneath, okay? It says cover up the part of the equation that has the variable, decide what the value of the term under your finger must be to make the equation true, lift up your finger, decide what the value of the variable must be. Okay, so let's try another one. I'm going to cover up the part that has the variable in it, so I'm going to cover up 5W. What would you add to 6 to get 41?
30 something.
Yes, 30 something. I'm going to let everyone think about it for just a second. What plus 6 is going to be 41? When you think you know it, raise your hand.
I know, but you're not gonna call me.
I call you all the time, crazy.
Yeah, call someone
Okay, Nathan, what'd you get? 35. Okay, so we're saying that the value of what was underneath my finger here is 35. Now I'm going to ignore the rest of it. What number would you multiply by 5 to get 35? Raise your hand when you feel like you know. Sal.
7.
Absolutely. Okay, so we're saying that W is equal to 7. Okay, now I'm going to write my equation down and I'm going to put 7 in for W and see if it works. This is going to be 6 plus 5 times 7 is equal to 41. Okay, so 6 plus 35 is equal to 41. 41 is equal to 41, and it works, you guys. You did it. Okay, I'm gonna do, well, let's do the rest of these all together, and then you can do your homework on your own. So let's take a look at number 2.
Oh, I missed mine.
Okay, I'm gonna cover up the part that has the variable right here. Okay, what number would you multiply by 4 to get 28? Think about it for a second. Jason, can you wait till after the lesson, please? Okay. Think about it. What times 4 is equal to 28? Milo. Oh, sorry, you didn't have your hand up. John.
28.
Yeah, what number would you multiply by 4 to get 28? Leia. 7. Is that what you guys got? Okay, now let's just look at this part right here. The covering up stuff is really important because then you're only looking at the important stuff that you need to see. What number would you subtract 5 from to get 7? Think about it for a second. You're not adding here, so M is not going to be 2. When you think you have it, raise your hand. Nathaniel.
12.
12. Okay, so we're going to say that M is 12 because 12 minus 5 is equal to 7, right? Now let's check it. Let's put it into our equation. And we always simplify our grouping first. And then we multiply. Yeah, so when they're both the same like this, we know that the answer is correct. So that means that M is equal to 12.
I just missed the chapter.
Okay, let's take a look at number 3 now. We've got a little bit of a fraction in there. That's okay, we can handle that. I'm going to cover up the part that has the variable. Half of what number is going to be 11? Half of what number will be 11? Think about it. Don't yell it out. Raise your hand when you feel like you know it. Half of what number is 11? Okay, Trenton. 22. Because if half of 22 is 11, then the value here has to be 22. Okay, now 13 plus what number is 22? Think about it. Raise your hand when you feel like you know. All right, John.
9.
9. Okay, because 13 plus 9 is 22. So that means F has to be 9. Now let's double check. Okay, we're gonna simplify our grouping first. And then 1/2 of 22 is 11. So we're good. This is the correct answer. Okay, now number 4 is a little bit different than some of the ones that we've seen before. So let me show you what to cover up. Okay, what's paired here with your variable is the 16. So I'm going to cover up the 16, and I'm going to say, what number would you divide by 4 to get 8? When you think you know it, raise your hand. Jason, can you close your Chromebook, please? Thank you. What number would you divide by 4 to get 8? Sophia? 32. So we're saying this thing right here is 32, because 32 divided by 4, yeah, that's 8. Now I'm going to cover up the rest of this. What would you add 16 to get 32? Raise your hand when you feel like you know. Only 4 people know?
Yeah.
Aiden, do you know? Alex? Go ahead, Alex. Yeah, 16, because 16 plus 16 is 32, right? So we're saying that K is equal to 16. Now let's check it. So instead of writing K here, I'm going to put 16. So it's going to be 16 plus 16 divided by 4 is equal to 8. So this is going to be 32 divided by 4 is equal to 8. Is 32 divided by 4 8? Yes, it sure is. Okay. So we know that this is the correct answer. Okay. All right, you guys. Your homework is on the back side, and the answer checker is in Otis. Okay, so you guys have a little bit of time. Why don't you get started on that?